Good morning, YouTube. So there's going to be another disruption to our industry. We're going to see all these uh, manufacturers are going to go on strike, and they saying that it is going to disrupt everything from vehicles, parts, so on and so forth. So yesterday we called a Chevy dealer to get a driver's side exhaust manifold for a six-cylinder 17 Silverado, and then they didn't have the exhaust gasket in stock either. And then we call a couple local parts houses, and guess what? It was difficult to find it aftermarket. We did find one vendor that had to go pick it up from somewhere. But so we deal with Barlow Chevy now. We stopped using Mall Chevy because their parts department was horrible. And the guy on the counter was like, "Hey man, it's only going to get worse from here." So they were nervous at the parts department level. I went to Cherry Hill Dodge yesterday, and they seemed like everything was flowing. I actually should have asked a friend of mine, Buddy Schaefer, works there, and I want to give a shout out to Lou over at Certifit in Pennsauken. Thanks, Lou. We've been doing business a long time. I get my aftermarket headlights and bumper covers, hoods, and fenders, and things like that from him. But thanks for watching, Lou, and subscribing. I appreciate it. If you hear this, give me a shout out in return. What are your thoughts about this? I know that they have brought a lot of automation to the assembly lines and all that stuff. And to me, I guess, if you go back 40 years ago, there was a lot of actual, laborers, humans doing the work. Now, if you watch some of these assembly line plants, there isn't that many people in there. And I'm just curious, like, how many more humans do they need to do anything before they phase you completely out? I've been saying this before. They probably have enough money to have someone engineer something up to get rid of you, and you really don't want to do that. So, do you fight for what's right? I mean, I don't know what these guys are making and all that stuff, but what happens, just like when SEPTA goes on strike. You know how many people rely on SEPTA, and then they go on strike, and then the customer who uses them is pissed off because somebody's not happy about something, or a group of people, or somebody's wants something. So, and then what do? They just stop working. They don't show up, and then they complain that they don't have no money. But the disruption that comes from it, and you think about everywhere you go, and there's kiosks now instead of humans doing the job. Only so much that an employer can take before they say, "Well, I'm just going to invest in technology and not invest in you." And if these factories close and go away, where are you going to go get a job? They're not building new assembly lines and plants. They're building more AI to replace you. And it's eventually going to happen for all industries, I would guess. I mean, I see people putting dashboards in. Eventually, they'll have equipment that'll be doing that too. That's just my thoughts. So, I mean, and the last time that I actually heard what an assembly line worker makes or something like that was like $80 an hour plus benefits. Like, and then now, if they get what they want and it increased the costs to the manufacturer, and this is just how it goes. Like, when I have to raise my prices, it's not because I really want to raise. I would like to have a raise, but it's typically because the cost of rent, cost of insurance, products have went up, employee, workers' comp. I mean, look, I can just go on and on and on. Electric, utilities. You have to raise your prices, especially when your cost of your cost of labor is going up 10, 20, 30%. Well, you can't absorb all that. You have to pass it on to the customer. I mean, just like charging your car at Wawa, like I just did a video about that, the costs. So let's see how this all falls out with this. Is it going to raise new car prices up? Is it going to raise the interest rates up? I mean, isn't GMAC its own financer? Like somewhere, whatever these people want and need, it comes at a cost. And the cost is going to wind up, where it's going to put a ripple in our industry. We already have enough of a problem with aftermarket parts, and to have what you really need for OEM parts, the dealership's not going to hurry up and go to the aftermarket to get parts for your car. I mean, I think some of them do it quietly, but most of these dealerships are not going to install aftermarket parts, especially if the aftermarket doesn't make it. Then what? Your car's going to sit while you're making a payment to get it. Your car's going to sit while you're making a payment, and you don't know when you're going to get that back. And then it's going to force you to trade it in, and the dealer will trade that car in. And you're going to usually wind up losing on that deal anyway, to get another new car that has problems again. So I'm curious to see how this falls out. It's tough enough in our business today, in our world. With COVID, it's like, oh, we don't have no staff. We don't have no staff. We don't have no staff. Yeah, imagine if you start closing plants again. You're not going to have no cars. You're not going to have no parts. I think some of these big corporations, like, is the aggravation worth all this? I mean, I still look at dealership lots that are not full of cars. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.